Hello everybody, welcome welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I am here to talk about The Batman. Now, The Batman comes out not too long from now, a couple months, I believe. March, right? So, a month from now, like a month from now. So, I have kind of been tempered with my hype for this film. A lot of people are hyped for this, a lot of people are anticipating this. But with the recent news about it being a PG-13 film, and particularly, that's not a big deal to me, but the recent news about this movie being damn near 3 hours long. 2 hours and 55 minutes. Which probably means it's about 10 minutes of credits tops. So you're looking at 2 hours and 45 minute movie minimum. This movie is longer than fucking Infinity War. This movie is almost as long as Endgame. Even The Dark Knight isn't this long. So, that's a lot of film. Like, that's a lot of film. And I'm so conflicted on this because, one, I like Matt Reeves. I've only ever seen Matt Reeves' Planet of the Apes movies. And I love those movies. I thought that trilogy was I thought it was a really great trilogy. Underrated trilogy, in fact. It's one of those trilogies that doesn't get talked about enough, is Matt Reeves' Planet of the Apes trilogy. Particularly Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. That one was top tier shit right there. But when you hear Matt Reeves is doing a Batman movie and it's gonna be more, I thought it was gonna be more comic book inspired. But this seems and I'm losing it a bit, and I've talked about this before, but doesn't this film, aspects of this film, feel like it's treading old water? Check it out. Since Christopher Nolan has done Batman, almost every interpretation of Batman, at least live action interpretation, well, not every, but most of the interpretations of Batman have been focused on making it dark, gritty, and realistic. And I've often said that we still haven't gotten comic book Batman. And people would probably argue with me about that we have gotten great Batmans, but we haven't got comic book Batman. I'm always stressed out because I'm like, am I ever going to see Clayface? You know what I mean? Am I ever going to see him fight Killer Croc? Am I ever going to see a proper Scarecrow? Creepy, wild, insane hallucination Scarecrow. Am I ever gonna see him fight a proper Ra's al Ghul? And in my mind, I'm like, I don't think I'm ever gonna see that, because Hollywood has pretty much come to the conclusion that Batman has to be done one singular way. And I'm just like, well, you could do that, but just look at the Arkham series. The Arkham series were darker and edgier, but they didn't lose the fantastical aspect of the character. There are fantastical aspects of Batman that I'm sad that I'll never get to see in film. And when this new Batman was announced, I was hoping that it would be more of a comic book Batman. Instead, it's going for the even more quote unquote realistic Batman than even the Christopher Nolan films did. I mean, check it. I mean, right down to the fact that the Riddler, his costume is just like this green, trash bag suit. And I'm like, maybe he becomes the Riddler, proper Riddler at the end of it, but it's and the way they're even playing the Riddler, he's this serial killer. That's the vibe they're playing with the Riddler, which isn't totally too far removed from how the Riddler is in the comics and in the video games and in the animated shows. But they're really playing up the whole he's a serial killer aspect. And not to mention, they're going out of their way to hide the actor who's playing the Riddler. Which, if you know the Riddler comics, this might be a bit of spoiler for you, but if you know the Riddler and the origin of the Riddler, you know that he's Edward Nygma, former forensic he was the forensic guy for the Gotham City Police Department, for the GCPD. So, perhaps the reason that they're hiding his face is because he is going to be the forensic guy for the GCPD, and they don't want to give away that, that he's gonna be introduced early on in the show. I mean, in the movie, and they don't want to give that away. That's the only reason I can see why they're hiding his face so much. Because I'm like, we know who the actor is who's playing the Riddler, and we know why he's doing, and we know, vaguely what he's gonna look like. Clearly there's a whole conspiracy thing going on. Clearly there's gonna be an entire thing about the Riddler targeting Bruce Wayne / Batman because of something that his parents did, and a conspiracy, and clearly you can kind of infer what's gonna happen in this. Not to mention with the addition of the Penguin and Catwoman, and I'm just. This is gonna sound crazy, and I might sound like the only man on the planet. This film has not captured me. The trailers have looked cool, but that's not a cool Batmobile. His costume from a distance looks cool, but it's so chained together. And not to mention, all of the fight sequences they have shown in the trailers have not impressed me. It seems like he's a Batman who relies more on the durability of his armor than actually his fighting capabilities. And I noticed that in the hallway scene where those guys, he popped up on 2 guys in a dark hallway, and he got shot. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, am I ever going to get the badass ninja comic book Batman? Batman should be kicking more ass than Cap, and he should be doing it so easily, so swiftly. He should be a one-man army, dude. And the vibe I get from this version of Batman is he relies, at least in all the fight sequences that they have shown, he relies mostly on the durability of his armor, which is not a Batman thing. It's one of the problems I have with Ben Affleck's Batman is that he was such a tank, and the way he fought was like a tank, and I'm like, Batman's a ninja, dude. Batman's swift, he's fast, he strikes hard, he strikes quickly. And to this day, the best Batman adaptation, nothing's beaten it. Nothing's come close to beating it is the Arkham City. It's Arkham City. Because Arkham City, and it's what I keep in my mind, every time I hear they're making a new Batman, I'm just like, just make it like Arkham City. Just make it like Arkham City. Just go for that same tone, go for that same type of action sequences. But no, they never do that. They always go for this darker, grittier, whatever take on Batman. Which, and for some reason, the Penguin's talking like a old school 19 fucking, Al Capone mobster, which, sure, there are aspects of the Penguin in certain, depending on which era of the Penguin you're talking about, who does sound like this Al Capone mobster. But for the most part, he either sounds Australian, or he sounds or he sounds normal. It's I don't know what time period this takes place in. They really haven't said. But overall, I'm just not as hyped up for this film as I would like to be. It's gonna be a very long film. I'm already not hyped because because it feels like aspects of this film I've already seen before. They've already done this. They've already done the dark and gritty Batman. They've already done that. I've seen this already. I've seen a realistic take on Batman. I've already seen it. I've seen that. I've seen, and if you're making a Riddler, and they're doing this serial killer Riddler whose costume is a trash bag, I might be the only fan in America, and well, not in America, in the world, who is not completely hyped for this film. I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping maybe I'm wrong about the movie, and maybe I go see it and it's great. I'm gonna go see it, of course. And I'm hoping when I go see it, I change my mind, I have a full change around. I'm like, this movie turned out better than I hoped it would be. And the other thing, which is a minor thing, but it does bug me, is I'm giving Robert Pattinson a fair chance. I don't like the fact that his Batman, that his Bruce Wayne is so emo. One of the ideas with Batman and Bruce Wayne is that the reason Batman's persona of Bruce Wayne, you see what I did there, but the reason Bruce Wayne is a playboy, billionaire, He's going all these things. He's smiling. When you see Bruce Wayne in conferences and at parties and stuff, he's all smiles and he's with these different women and he's always got like a couple women on his shoulder and it's all so that and he actually projects himself to be like just a normal man who can't really do anything, a meek man. It's all a mask so that no one will look at him. First of all, it never quite made sense that no one actually figured out that Batman was Bruce Wayne, because Bruce Wayne is literally the only person in Gotham City with the funds to be Batman. At the very least, people should have connected the two together and been like, are you funding Batman's operations? Because he's the only person in the world, he's the only person in Gotham who one would care enough to do so, and two has the actual funds to do so. So it's always been clear that Bruce Wayne is Batman. It's one of the only nicks about the actual character of Batman. One of the only things that always bothered me is that it just doesn't make sense that people wouldn't have figured that out. Now maybe you could say Commissioner Gordon figured that out and he's done everything in his power to make sure other people can't figure that out. But it's always been weird that you can figure out that Bruce Wayne is Batman fairly easy. But at least if he projects himself to be something completely different, at the very least, it's like, well, it's hard. You know what I mean? But the way, and like I said, it's just in the trailers, so maybe I'm wrong when I actually see the film, and he is playing it differently. Every scene of him as Bruce Wayne that I've seen in the trailers, he is just moping. He's got this whole hair dripped over his eye. Like, he's got this whole Edward Scissorhand, like, emo kid in the back of the classroom thing going, where he's constantly moping around and shit. Who the fuck wouldn't know he's Batman? Like, who wouldn't look right at him? The rich kid who disappeared for years came back and he's moping around and there's this moping around. That's Batman. I mean, that's Batman. Like, it's so like it's just, he's not even trying. And there's always been, don't get me, and to be fair, there's always been an emo aspect of Batman. There's always been that. But when he's by himself, when he's with Alfred, that's when you see the emo side, and I'm fine with that. But when he's out in public, supposedly supposed to be Bruce Wayne, and he still looks mopey, he still looks super emo, I'm just like, dude, it makes it harder for me to believe that no one would know he's Batman. It's just, I don't believe it. He's just like, why wouldn't he be? Like, I would just obviously be like, I don't know, the rich kid who showed up, emo as fuck, looks upset every fucking sequence I've seen him as Bruce Wayne. I wonder who Batman is. Like I said, I am saving my judgment for when I see the actual film, but I have concerns. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me, Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.